Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this platform. This is The Junction. Have you ever felt like you are in a maze? Today, we're talking about the feeling of being stuck. Feeling stuck sometimes feel like you are in a maze, right? You're going in loops and turns, but you never seem to be able to get out. And you begin to wonder, how did I even get into this mess to begin with? And am I even going to be able to get out? How can I possibly get out? Because it's frustrating, right? You feel hopeless and helpless sometimes because you've tried everything that you think you can try, but you're not getting anywhere. Well, today I understand how frustrating that is, and I want to assure you that there is always a way out. And I'm going to share some simple yet powerful technique that can help you get out of this maze or this mess that you're in and rediscover your path to wherever that you're trying to get to your greatness, to excellence, to success. Without further ado, let's begin. Okay, so let me start with a story. The year was 1715, and King George the First was on the throne of his father, and there was an uprising that wanted to put Edward Stuart as the new king, and there started an uprising. In fact, it was recorded that that was the last fight on the soil of the British Empire or kingdom, and unfortunately, this uprising failed and they surrendered to King George's army. And so, of course, that is treason. And one of the earl or one of the duke or maybe lord that was part of the army that wanted to put Edward Stuart as the new king, his name was William. And William was, of course, arrested and charged with treason. And the punishment of treason is execution by hanging or beheading. And for those who are of higher or status in the society, they will schedule the execution. I think it will be a public execution, I guess, to send a message. So they put all of them, including William, in the Tower of London. And it's been recorded that nobody has escaped the Tower of London. You will be recaptured and you will be executed. That's even if you can escape it. So his wife, Winifred, tried everything. She was very diplomatic, very charismatic, tried everything to get her husband out of this stucky situation. I mean, talk about being stuck in a situation. Being stuck is real. He was stuck in the Tower of London. He's not going anywhere. He was scheduled to be executed. But his wife was determined at all costs to get her husband out of this stucky situation. So she went lobbying. And in fact, she went to King George to ask for mercy, to plead for mercy, pardon my husband. But the king would not have anything to do with it. In fact, it was recorded that the king had to drag her across the room to get loose, to get loose from her because she held on firmly to the robe of the king. This is how determined this woman was. But at any rate, she's tried everything that she could try and nothing was working. Then she came up with the last attempt to get her husband out. It was an audacious plan. She was going to break her husband out of jail. And she had a plan. She was very charismatic, like I said. She became friends with the guards. She brought them food. Food can go a long way. Gift, money. She was very, very kind and very pleasant to them. And so they built this rapport. And on the day that she was ready to bail her husband out, she went with two of her maids or her ladies, and they went up there. And they were cruising around with the guards. They were eating, drinking, laughing. She went to see her husband. And it was recorded that she was overdressed. So that should give you a clue to perhaps what she was about to do. She dressed her husband or had her husband wear one of her gowns, one of her dresses. And the husband put a veil on because when they came in, all the ladies came in with an handkerchief over their faces. I mean, it was a norm in those days to dress like that. So there wouldn't have been anything suspicious or wrong with that way of dressing or that manner of dressing. And, he covered his face with the veil. He covered half of his face, the mouth with the beard. And, they bade their goodbye. And the gods didn't think anything of it. It wasn't until they were gone that they discovered. At any rate, they were gone. They escaped London and they escaped forever. Listen, today, like I said, was talking about the feeling of being stuck. Being stuck is real. This William, he was stuck in this situation, in this messy situation. Either he found himself in because he didn't have a choice he had to fight, or that he got himself into. Whatever the case is, he was stuck. So being stuck is real. But today we're not talking about being stuck per se. We're talking about the feeling of being stuck, because the feeling of being stuck is an illusion, because there is always a way out. And oftentimes the reason why I'll give 3 reasons. I hope those reasons can help you why we often think that there is no way out. There could be other reasons, but a lot of the reasons can be grouped into these 3 categories. The first one, why we always think that there is absolutely no way out, and we give up, is number 1, because of fear. Fear paralyzes you. That's what fear does. And like I said, the feeling is an illusion. Fear is the feeling, and fear is an illusion. Fear is like a curtain, and you don't know what is behind the door. But somebody is telling you, go through those curtains. Just open up the curtains and you will discover. Well, what am I going to discover behind the curtain? Is it going to be a lion, a rapacious lion? Is it going to be an hangry and mad dog? What is it going to be? Is it going to be a scary monster? Is it going to be a ditch that I just fall in? Or maybe it's going to be something that brings joy and peace. Is it going to be riches? Is it going to be peace? What is it? A beautiful lady? What is it going to be? I don't know. This is the dilemma with fear. And a lot of people overthink it, overanalyze it, and they just give up because of fear. Listen, fear is a feeling. You have to face that fear. You have to go and just open that curtain. And whatever it is, it is. But you can't live your life in fear. So fear is the number 1 thing. Can you imagine this Winifred lady? She has to be a brave and bold lady to come up with such a plan, and not just come up with it, actually go through with it, implement it, right? That is an audacious plan, because what if she was caught? See, this is what you have to do. You have to face your fear. You have to open that curtain and find out what is behind it. The second thing, the number 2 thing, is ignorance. Ignorance is bliss, because you don't know what you don't know, but you can't live your life in ignorance. You have to take step and find out what you don't know. Winifred found out what she doesn't know. Perhaps, maybe I can plead my husband's crime can be forgiven, can be pardoned. I don't know, but I'm going to try. She tried. She failed at that because nobody was going to pardon treason. So, but she tried. So you have to go and look for information, speak to people, talk to people, do research. Don't make assumption that this is the way it's always been, or this is the way it happened to so and so. This is just the way it's going to be. Perhaps the so and so did not know that there's a better way. Perhaps that person was ignorant. Perhaps the implementation or the execution of whatever they did was wrong. Don't live your life in ignorance, okay? Don't live your life in ignorance. You have to plan your life to discover the truth thing. The number 3 thing is lack of resource. Lack of resource. So this is a big one. Just because you don't have the resources at hand does not mean that it cannot be done. You have to find out. Perhaps the way that you're approaching this situation, maybe there's another way, right? You know, take for example, a woman has to escape from an abusive relationship, and she's like, oh, I don't have money to buy my own house. Perhaps that's not what you need right now. You don't have money, but maybe you can go to like a shelter. Maybe you can reach out and go stay stay in a friend's place, stay in your parents' place. What are other things, alternatives that you can do, or alternative steps that you can take in lieu of your original plan if you don't have the resources? A lot of us stop at, I don't have the resources, I don't have the money, I don't know anybody. Perhaps there's something else that you can do. Maybe you can go volunteer to work at that place and you can build relationship there. And from there, people get to know you, and then you can work your way into whatever you want to be. But never stop at, I lack the resources. There is always a way out, like I said. And so those are the three things that prevents us from moving forward. However, let me just let you know quickly how life works, because this will help you understand that there is always a way out. And I want to end with that, just to encourage you that the feeling of being stuck is an illusion. It's not true, because you have to understand how life works. And a lot of us don't understand. And because of that, we make assumptions. See, when there is lack of understanding, assumptions fill in the gaps. Life works like a math problem. And in a math problem, you have your variables and you have the equation. And your equation could be addition, could be multiplication, could be subtraction, could be division, and your variable could be any number that you're playing with. If your outcome is to get a 6, and you were given a 2 and a 3, that addition is not going to give you a 6. So the equation there would be 2 times 3, right? So in life, you have to understand, what data am I working with? You have to have the right knowledge. So your data is the knowledge that you're working with. Like I said, the 2 and the 3, those are the knowledge, the information. You need the right information. You need access to information. Get the right information. And when we talk about equation, if I'm looking for a 6, I have to multiply 2 by 3. But if I'm looking for a 5, a multiplication is not going to help me. I need an addition. 2 plus 3 will give me a 5. So what am I talking about? Implementation, the execution of the knowledge is very, very vital. So sometimes we have the knowledge, the implementation could be shoddy, it could be wrong. And so we think that it doesn't work. Go back. So what are the steps that you can take that can help you? Well, number one is to reflect on, how did I even get here? Because maybe it was the wrong implementation. Why am I in this mess? Why does it seem that I cannot get out? So maybe the implementation is wrong. Maybe the information is wrong. But reflect. Reflection is a very, very important tool that you can have in your toolbox that can help you. Go back and reflect. How did I get here? It's like losing a key. You have to trace yourself back. Where have I been? Where are the places that I went to? What happened? If you can trace yourself back, trace your step back. Look at all the options that you have and determine the one that will work for you. And then just take one. And if it doesn't work, well, you've tried that, take another. But you have to understand that life is very, very simple. Information is necessary. And the rightful implementation of that information is equally as necessary as the information. Well, that's all that I have today because of time. Till we meet next time, keep pushing forward. And my name is Toyin. I will see you next time on this platform. Stay blessed.